Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad. This is the Firefighter's Financial Toolbox. As I get closer to retirement, I'm starting to shift the focus of my channel a little bit, you guys. I'm still talking about financial stuff, but I'm starting to talk a little bit more about retirement specific subjects. I hope you enjoy this. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. You know the deal. Anyway, so this is again smartasset.com. And this is 7 crucial retirement mistakes. Now, you have to remember that this particular website is a for profit website and they are trying to sell financial advice and whatnot. So keep that in mind. You guys know I'm a DIYer and I feel like I've done a pretty good job on myself. I don't know everything by far. I'm not saying I don't know that I've earned the right to be able to give advice. I don't want to, but I disagree with a few of the things here. But anyway, this says 7 crucial retirement mistakes. And this is February of 2022, so it's up to date. All right, so if we look here, it says the choices you make now could affect whether your retirement dreams come true. I agree with that. According to the Fidelity Study, financial advice can add between 1.5 to 4% to your account growth over extended periods. I think that depends on the person. If you have a person who doesn't react well to market volatility, yes, because you have somebody to go, hey, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. And they have a questionnaire we're not going to get into. But anyway, 7 crucial retirement planning mistakes. Number 1, taking Social Security before 70. Maximum Social Security retirement benefits kick in at age 70. Actually, your maximum benefit is at 70, but remember, your full retirement age is what they base the benefit on. So by waiting the extra 3 years, because most of us in my age group are going to be retiring, your full retirement age is 67. If you were born after 1960, it's 67. So the 3 years, each year you add 8%. So you would get a 24% bump over your full retirement age by taking it at 70. It also decreases 8 years if you take it at 62. So each year that you take it before 67, and there's 5 of them at 62, is 8% per year. So that's a big hit. So that being said, the right answer is not that for everybody. I think if you have the means to make it last until then, the person who's going to get the bigger benefit of a husband and wife or of a couple, then that makes sense. But remember, these are generalities. All right, number 2, borrowing against your retirement unless it's emergency. Okay, this, you guys, I agree with 100%. Well, let's see what it says. But first of all, if you don't have to borrow against your retirement fund, do not. If any other options are available, do that. Because here's the thing, you can't put that money back. All right. The interest you pay on the loan is paid back into the account, but you miss out on potential returns. So, however many years it takes you to repay that, that's years you've missed out on compound interest in your account. You risk having to pay back income taxes and withdrawal penalties if you're not able to pay it back in the 5 years before you leave the job. Now, that's important. Normally you have 5 years, but if you change employers, your employer can say that you've broken the contract and you could be responsible for paying all that back. And if you can't, now you're paying penalties on it. So this one I agree with 100%. Number 3, tapping into your 401k or IRA before RMDs. RMDs are required minimum distributions, you guys. And if you're my age or older, you don't have RMDs until age 72. So the idea is let that money grow and compound as long as possible. Here's the thing, and for the most part, I agree with this, but it says you can start withdrawing your money when you turn 59 and a half, which we all know, right? After 59 and a half, traditional IRAs are not penalized. You still have to pay taxes on them, but you don't have to pay the penalty, which is good. But you don't have to start taking money out until you turn 72. And the idea here is to let it keep growing. Now, I think if you're somebody who does not have a lot in their accounts, this might be a good idea. But if you're someone who, like me, who's going to retire early and knows that he has a pretty good amount in there, waiting to 72 could make my RMDs. Remember, the first year you take an RMD, it's about 3.9%. So if you have $100,000, you have to take $3,900. But if you have 10 million, you have to take 390,000. So it's not as plain as black and white. The other thing to think about is if I do, let's say I have a large IRA balance or 401k balance, whatever it is. I have a large traditional balance. I die. Now my wife is single and she still has to take the RMD for all of that. So she could get into what they call the widow's tax trap, because I totally expect my wife to outlive me. I have no doubt in my mind. She's going to outlive me for sure. And I don't want her to have to pay the tax burden being a single filer on a huge amount. So again, this is one of those that's very individualized, you guys. All right, next, number 4, tapping into your Roth before exhausting other options. This is kind of piggybacking on the last one, right? It's saying don't take any money out of your Roth for as long as you can because it's tax-free growth and it's maximized. And I agree with that in simple terms. Like if you need, but here's the thing. If you have a pension or you get to a point where you're going to go up into the next tax bracket, it's going to cost you a lot. Where if I could take $5,000 for a trip to wherever this year, tax-free, and it wouldn't put me in that higher tax bracket, maybe that's okay. I agree with the fundamentally is it's tax-free, let it grow as long as you can. The other thing is it's better if you're going to leave that to your children or anybody after you die. But again, not a simple answer. All right, number 5, hiring an advisor who is not a fiduciary. I agree. If you're going to hire a financial advisor, you want a fiduciary because he or she is legally responsible to do it in your best interest. In other words, they can't just sell you a product because it's going to make them the biggest commission. They have to actually act on your best, and they have to act in their best intents for what's going to benefit you. And again, this is all of financial advisors and smart assets are fiduciaries, so they're trying to sell the product. I don't personally use a financial advisor. I am not against them. As I said, I think if you're somebody who doesn't want to deal with it or freaks out when markets get shaky, which they do, and that's part of it, right? Maybe a fiduciary is a good idea for you because they're going to act in your best behalf. And even though you're going to lose some money to fees to them, they're going to make sure that you don't screw it up, because if you screw it up, sometimes you can't recover from that. All right, number 6, not considering your spouse's Social Security benefits. I agree with this. You can delay claiming your own Social Security, and reap half of your partner's payout. Your marriage, current or not, has to have lasted at least 10 years. So that is if you're divorced, but you were married for 10 years prior. Your ex-spouse could come off of your benefits, or you could take benefits based on theirs. Beneficial if your spouse was a higher earner, since the calculation obviously is based on the higher spouse's salary. So in my case, I was a higher salary spouse. My wife would be able to get higher spousal benefits. Remember, you can't take spousal benefits until the other spouse files. So there's that. All right, number 7, I disagree with to some extent. Again, trying to DIY retirement planning. Yes, I think financial advisors are well-versed in retirement planning. They can help you with where to invest, when to elect your benefits, determine the proper order to withdraw funds, avoiding costly tax traps. They can be a costly tax trap. I think you should find a good advisor. I think you should do a fee-only advisor. If And then if you need, consult somebody who's versed in tax planning, somebody who can do all that. Because I think that more than anything, you guys know I'm an index fund guy. I believe you can pick an index fund, a total bond fund, and keep some cash on hand and really let it ride. Now, it's not as simple as that in my portfolio, but it is a way to do it. Again, those of you who don't have the will to learn that or who can't handle it when stuff goes bad, and in the market, volatility is the name of the game, right? We don't know if it's going to be up, down, sideways, whatever. And if you can't handle it when it's going down, it's probably better you have somebody controlling that. So, but as far as retirement planning, I think the most important things are for you to save as much as you can, look at ways to save your cost, know how much you're going to need in retirement, pretty close to the number, right? Whatever that means for you and your family. And then base it on longevity. There's no perfect answer. Nobody out there has a perfect answer to retirement planning. They can have good ideas, they can have good plans, and some work and some don't. Realistically, we don't know what the future holds. None of us do. So we got to do our best guess. Here's 7 things that they said. As I said, they're all crucial points. I don't necessarily agree with this particular article's opinion on all of them, but they're all things to think about for retirement. What do you guys think? Am I way off base here? If I am, put it in the comments because I want to hear them. I want to know what you guys think about this. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, do me a favor. Drop me that like. It really helps the algorithm. If you're not subscribed, I'm going to ask you again, hit the red button, ring the bell. All right, we'll see you.